Okay, welcome everybody. We're going to be doing an oil change on this 2017 Dodge Caravan. Also Chrysler Town & Country, same thing. This is the 3.6 liter. We're going to go ahead and get right into it. We're going to start with everything we need and procedures and everything that we're going to be using to accomplish this. Okay, so this is what I'm using. I've got 6 quarts, 5 weight 20. We're going full synthetic. We got this over at O'Reilly's. We got a MicroGuard oil filter. So this is a little bit different than your standard conventional filter. This is mounted on the top of the engine. A couple rags in case we make a mess. A funnel for servicing. I have a 15/16 socket on a 1/2 inch breaker bar. That's what I'm using to take the filter off. I'm using a 1/2 inch drive, 1/2 inch socket, 1/2 inch drive for the drain plug, and I'm only staying 1/2 inch because I need to torque both of those, the drain plug and the oil filter. So 18 in pounds, belay my last, 18 foot-pounds for the oil filter, 20 foot-pounds for the drain plug, and I'm going to use a 1/2 inch drive torque wrench for that, and I got an extension on there. And also underneath here I do have a drain pan to catch all our oil. So relatively different than most oil filters. This one is mounted underneath the inlet box for the air inlet. So we're going to take this cap off, and this is your oil fill cap. We're going to remove that first, and then we're going to go underneath and drain the oil from the drain plug. So I've kind of wiped the drain plug with a red rag, just to make sure we don't get anything in here. I'm going to use our 1/2 inch socket and go ahead and break the torque on this. And I've got our drain pan here. We're going to go ahead and loosen this up. And let that drain out. And then while we're here, we'll inspect our drain plug, because this is a magnetic detector. See if any chips or anything indicating any engine failure. Looks good. So we'll let this drain out, and then we'll reinstall our plug. Okay, so we've pretty much come into a drip here. We're going to go ahead and reinstall our plug. I'm going to clean this off to make sure there isn't no metal shavings on there. Reinstall this. Then we'll use our ratchet to tighten it up. Now, preferably you have a torque wrench. And the torque on this is 20 foot-pounds. I've already got the torque wrench set up. Forgive me, I've only using one hand here. Alright, that click indicates that we are torqued and good to go. And I'm going to use a rag and clean up any excess oil there. Okay, now that we've drained our oil, reinstalled the drain plug and torqued it, we're going to go up here and change the filter. In order to get to it, it's easier to move this air box out of the way. It's only got 3 clips on it. Just pop those up by hand. And then you can move this up out of the way however you need it to get to what you need to do. So let's go ahead and get our tools. We'll see in a second. Okay, so I've neglected? I don't know. So I've changed my mind. Instead of using the breaker bar, I'm just going to go ahead and use a ratchet. It's only torqued to 18 foot-pounds, so it shouldn't be too bad. So this is a 15/16 socket. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and get this out. Now there is an O-ring in here you want to check. Make sure no evidence of leaks or anything. I don't see anything on the engine. Fairly new vehicle, so it should be fine. Alright, now I'll go ahead and remove this cap. Okay, and there we go. And now we'll get into the disassembly of this. Okay, so we got the old filter out. Here's our new filter, and it came with an O-ring. So you always want to make sure there's an O-ring on this portal here, just like the old one. Now this O-ring is going to go on the cap itself. So you want to note the position of that O-ring. You don't want to put it in the wrong position, because then it'll cause a leak. So we'll go ahead and remove this and reinstall all this. Okay, so we've reinstalled the new filter. This one just pulls out, very simple. You're gonna push it in, you're gonna feel it click, and then change this O-ring gasket out. And when you do that, put a little bit of fresh new oil all the way around that, so when you install it, it seals properly. So now we're just gonna go real time right here and reinstall. Right back in the cavity here. Thread it in by hand. All right, you always want to thread it by hand so you don't cross it. Now we're going to get a torque wrench on this, 18 foot-pounds. Okay, so we've got our torque wrench set to 18 foot-pounds, 15/16 socket. So we're going to go ahead and tighten this until we get it to click. And you don't want to over tighten this because you can cause yourself very expensive repairs. There we go. All right, now we'll reinstall our air box. I actually did remove it from the intake, so make sure you reinstall that if you take it off. Otherwise, you'll have bad airflow indications. In order to reinstall this clamp, normally you can use a flathead screwdriver, but it's kind of underneath the lip here, so I'm going to go ahead and use a 5/16 on a 1/4" drive extension, 1/4" ratchet, and tighten that down. All right, good to go. Now we can reinstall our clips. One more. All right, and we are good to go. Now we can service our oil. Okay, so our oil capacity on this engine is 6 quarts. I've already put in 5. This is our last one here. Make sure you pour this slowly. You don't want to overflow it because you'll get oil dripping down that stick. And when the car's running, it'll smell like burning oil because it is burning oil. So 6 quarts of oil. Topped off. We'll reinstall our cap, wipe up any residual oil that we may have spilled, and turn in our drained oil back in the original containers to an auto parts store, and they can recycle it. Okay, so the last thing we need to do is reset the oil change indicator. So this vehicle is equipped with a monitoring system. So you're going to turn the key to the on position, and within 10 seconds, you're going to depress the gas pedal, your accelerator, to the floor 3 times. 1, 2, 3, and then turn the key off. Then start the vehicle. Okay, so you can pause that, go back, however you want to do it. Well, we're going to go ahead and do it live right now. So we're going to turn the key on. 1, 2, 3. Turn the key off. Start the vehicle. And we should not have an oil change indicator coming up. And we should be good to go. Outstanding. Okay, well that concludes this oil change for the Dodge Grand Caravan or Chrysler Town & Country 3.6. Appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that stuff. This is Bobby from Quincy Squid Garage. Thanks for showing up. Appreciate you.